Okay, so I want you to picture the absolute pinnacle of modern engineering.
Yeah.
Just for a second. We are talking about a machine that represents, what, billions of dollars in R&D?
Billions, yeah. It's got everything. LiDAR, radar, high-res cameras, and a brain powered by the most advanced AI models out there.
It's that self-driving dream, right? A supercomputer on wheels. It's designed to see everything, predict everything, and react, faster than any human ever could.
Exactly. It's the future.
Right. Now, what if I told you that I could completely defeat this multi-billion-dollar masterpiece? I mean, render all that tech useless and maybe cause a huge accident using nothing but a piece of cardboard and a Sharpie.
It sounds like a joke. Or some, I don't know, a bad internet prank.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, according to the research we're looking at today, it is a very real and honestly a very alarming cybersecurity vulnerability.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are unpacking a phenomenon that researchers at UC Santa Cruz are calling CHAI.
Right, CHAI. That's CHAI. It stands for Command Hijacking Against Embodied AI.
And this is a big step beyond just tricking a chatbot into saying something weird. Right?
Oh, way beyond. This is what happens when you give those chatbots a physical body, like a car or a drone, and then you trick them into doing something dangerous in the real world.
So the source for this deep dive is a fascinating and, I have to say, a kind of terrifying study from those researchers at UC Santa Cruz. They didn't just theorize this stuff. They tested it.
They did. And the results are, well, they're the kind of thing that should make everyone in the industry pause.
Yeah. I mean, we're always asking, are these robots smart enough yet? But this study asks a much more uncomfortable question.
Are they actually too smart for their own good?
That is the mission today. For you, the listener, we are going to figure out how a smart robot gets outsmarted by a sticker. We're going to look at these specific experiments with cars and drones, and we'll break down the Wile E. Coyote logic, which is my favorite part.
It's a great analogy.
And we'll try to understand why being helpful might just be the biggest security flaw of all.
It is a deep rabbit hole, so let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, first up, we should probably clarify what we're talking about. Prompt injection is a term that gets thrown around a lot. Usually that's just tricking like ChatGPT into breaking its own rules, right?
Right. In the text-only world, it's a logic puzzle. You're just using clever language to bypass its safety filters. But the stakes are, relatively low. If a chatbot gives you a bad recipe, nobody gets hurt.
But today, we're talking about embodied AI. That sounds very sci-fi.
It does, doesn't it? But all it means is an AI model that controls a physical machine. It has sensors, usually cameras, and it has actuators, like wheels or propellers. It actually moves around in the world.
So if you pull off a prompt injection on a robot, you're not getting bad text. You're getting bad kinetic output. You're making things crash.
Precisely. And the method here is what the researchers call visual prompt injection. Okay, so explain that. How do you inject a prompt with a camera? You can't just, type into a car's windshield.
Well, you have to understand how these new multimodal models work. Like GPT-4o, which is what they tested in the study. It's called multimodal because it processes images and text at the same time as one thing.
So it's not like it has two separate brains, one for seeing the road and another for reading signs.
No, and that is the absolute key here. In the old days, a self-driving car had separate systems. One module for detecting stop sign shape, another for reading text. And then some human-written code would decide what to do.
Okay.
But these new end-to-end models, they just take in everything at once. Raw data goes in one side and a driving decision comes out the other.
That's all one thought process.
Exactly. The image of the street, the shape of the sign, the letters on the sign, it all gets turned into these little information units or tokens and processed together.
Okay, I think I'm following. It's blending the visual world and the language world.
Correct. And that is where the vulnerability is, because these AIs are trained on, the entire internet. They have a massive bias towards language. They are fundamentally built to follow written instructions.
So when the camera sees text out in the world,
it instinctively treats that text as a command, a very important command.
You're saying if I hold up a sign in front of the car, I am literally typing into its brain.
That is the perfect way to put it. The physical world becomes your keyboard.
That seems incredibly fragile. I mean, the world is full of text, billboards, T-shirts, graffiti. How does it function at all? Why isn't it constantly trying to drive into a Burger King because the sign says enter?
Well, that's exactly what the UC Santa Cruz team wanted to find out. They set up this controlled experiment to see just how easy it is to hijack that command loop.
So let's get into that experiment, because the simplicity of it is what really got me. They used a self-driving car scenario. Car approaches an intersection with a stop sign.
Right. Standard red octagon. Normally, the AI sees the shape, recognizes it means SOP, and it applies the brakes. Simple baseline.
But then they introduced the hack. And they didn't, like, hack the software. They didn't jam the radar or anything.
Yeah, they just put a sticker on the stop sign.
And what did the sticker say?
It just said go.
Just the word go, not, ignore this sign or some complicated command.
Nope. Just go.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate. A human sees a stop sign with graffiti on it, they still stop.
Yeah.
We rely on the shapes, the color. The red octagon is this universal symbol. Surely, a billion-dollar AI prioritizes that universal safety symbol over some random sticker.
You would hope so. You would absolutely hope so. But this is where that end-to-end model design backfires. The researchers found that the AI gave more weight to the semantic meaning of the text than to the visual context of the sign.
It read the word go
Whoa.
and just decided that was the main instruction.
Yes. It effectively concluded that the text go was a more specific, more urgent command than the big red octagon telling it to stop. So it accelerated through the intersection.
That is deeply disturbing. But let's talk numbers. Was this a fluke? Like a 1 in 100 thing?
This is the part that really matters. They tested this against GPT-4o, which, it's pretty much the state of the art for this stuff, the gold standard.
And the failure rate?
The failure rate was over 80%.
Wait, hold on. Over 80%?
Yes. In the trials with the Go sticker, the car blew through the stop sign more than 8 times out of 10.
That's not a vulnerability, that's a broken system. That is reliable failure. It means if I put a sticker on a stop sign, I can pretty much guarantee an accident.
It's remarkably consistent. And to make it even worse, they didn't just test this in an empty street, they raised the stakes. They simulated pedestrians walking in the crosswalk.
Oh, wow. So the car sees a stop sign, it sees people walking right in front of it,
Yeah.
and it sees a Go sticker.
And it went. The presence of pedestrians, the actual visual data of human beings in danger, was completely overridden by the text command, go.
That chills me to the bone, because what that implies is that the AI has this hierarchy of values where following instructions is more important than don't hit people.
That is the perfect way to say it. These models are instruction-tuned. They get rewarded during their training for being helpful and obedient to text. The AI doesn't know what a person is, not in a moral sense, it just sees pixels. But it knows what the word go means because it's been reinforced to follow text commands billions of times.
So it's a good soldier. It follows orders. The problem is that the enemy wrote the orders on a piece of cardboard.
Exactly. And it just highlights this massive gap between what we call intelligence and what we call common sense. A human uses common sense. They think a sticker on a sign is just vandalism. I should ignore it. Oh, and there are people there. I must stop.
Oh.
The AI just, it doesn't have that grounding. It sees text, it processes text, it obeys text.
I do want to push on this a bit, though. I know some of our listeners are thinking, okay, but a real Waymo or a Tesla doesn't run just on GPT-4o. They have detailed maps. They have hard-coded rules about stop signs.
That's a very fair point. And it's true. Commercial self-driving cars today use a mix of systems. They're not purely relying on a single visual language model for every single decision, precisely because of risks like this.
But the industry's moving that way, right?
Aggressively. The whole trend, the thing everyone is pouring billions into, is moving toward end-to-end learning. The holy grail is a system that learns like a human by watching and reasoning, not one that's bogged down by a million if-then rules written by engineers.
So they might handle a complex, rainy construction zone better.
Right.
But this study suggests that in doing so, they also become incredibly gullible.
That's the trade-off. By moving to these massive general-purpose AI brains, we are inheriting all of the weird quirks and vulnerabilities of those brains. We're trading the rigidity of old code for the gullibility of a large language model.
It's like we replaced a boring, reliable calculator with a genius poet who is also very, very easily hypnotized.
That is a fantastic analogy. And the hypnosis part becomes even clearer in their second experiment. They didn't just stop with cars. They took the same logic to the skies with drones.
Right, the surveillance drone. This one felt like it was straight out of a movie. Walk us through that setup.
So imagine a police drone programmed to follow a specific suspect's vehicle. Its mission is simple. Follow the red car, do not lose the red car.
Okay, got it.
And in the simulation, it's doing its job perfectly. But then The researchers introduce a distraction. They take a completely random, innocent car, and they just slap a sign on it.
And the magic word this time was
The sign just said police.
police, even though the drone wasn't programmed to look for police.
Nope. But the model has all these learned associations from its training. It knows the word police is associated with authority, maybe with the chase, maybe with being a target. So when the drone saw the innocent car with the police sign on it, it abandoned its actual target.
It just switched, just like that.
Switched targets. It started following the random car simply because of the label that was stuck to it.
That's wild. That's like the drone got confused about who the main character of the story was. The text just hijacks the entire mission.
It did. And the source material had that comparison that you love. They called it Wile E. Coyote logic.
Yes. It's such a perfect image. For anyone who didn't grow up on those cartoons, Wile E. Coyote paints a fake tunnel on a solid rock wall.
And the Roadrunner zips right through it, but when the coyote tries, he just slams into the rock.
Exactly. It's creating a visual lie that's so convincing, it actually alters reality for the victim.
And in this research, it's literally what's happening. The robot sees a go sign where there isn't one. It sees a police car where there isn't one. It is falling for the painted tunnel.
It's just amazing. We worry about these elite hackers cracking encryption, but you can hack a drone with poster board and some paint. We're dealing with cybersecurity that operates on cartoon physics.
Cartoon physics is the term. And it's funny, until you remember, these machines are 2 tons of metal moving at 60 miles an hour.
Right. When you paint a tunnel on a wall in a cartoon, we laugh. When you put a ghost sticker on a stop sign and a car accelerates into a crosswalk, it's a tragedy.
Yeah.
So why is this happening now? We've had computer vision for years. Why is this specific vulnerability a new problem?
It's the paradox of capability. Old school computer vision was dumb. It looked for edges, shapes. It saw an octagon. It didn't know what the letters G-O meant. It couldn't read, so it couldn't be tricked by reading.
So because we made them smarter, because we taught them to read, we made them vulnerable.
Yes. The vulnerability is a direct side effect of the intelligence. It's this helpful paradox. We want the car to be helpful. We want it to read a sign that says, detour ahead.
Of course. If a construction worker holds up a sign that says, slow, I want the car to obey that. I don't want it to just plow through because it only recognizes octagons.
Precisely. But we haven't figured out how to teach the AI to distinguish between a legitimate slow sign and a malicious go sign taped up by a prankster. To the AI, pixels are pixels. It sees text, it wants to be helpful, so it follows the text.
This feels like a massive problem for the industry. How do you even begin to fix this? Do you just tell the car not to read signs anymore?
You can't. The world runs on text. So the fix is incredibly difficult. You basically have to teach the AI something like contextual skepticism.
Contextual skepticism? That sounds like a philosophy class.
It kind of is. You have to teach it to ask questions. Does this text make sense here? Does this go sticker look like an official sign or does it look like cardboard? Is it logical for a stop sign to say go?
But that's common sense, which we've already established they don't have.
It is incredibly hard. It requires what they call a world model, a deep, intuitive understanding of how the world is supposed to work. It needs to understand the concept of vandalism, the concept of a prank. These are sociological ideas, not just visual ones.
So we're asking the car to be a sociologist now.
In a way, yeah. If we want it to survive in the human world, it has to understand human messiness.
It all comes back to that irony from the beginning. We spend billions to build these digital brains, train them on the whole internet, give them eyes that see in the dark.
And anyone with $5 worth of office supplies can turn them into a weapon? It's humbling. It shows the gap between artificial intelligence and, real intelligence is still pretty wide in some very dangerous ways.
Raw processing power isn't wisdom. We've built these incredibly eager-to-please systems. They are the ultimate yes men. They'll do whatever they're told.
Even if what they're told is written on cardboard taped to a stop sign?
And even if it puts people in danger. That's the crux of it.
It really is.
It reminds me of those old social engineering hacks on people. Where someone can walk into a secure building just by carrying a ladder and wearing a safety vest.
That's a great parallel. People hold the door open because the uniform says, I belong here.
And the AI is doing the same thing. The text go is wearing the safety vest.
Right.
The AI hits the gas pedal because it trusts the symbol over the reality.
We've built systems that trust too much. That's exactly it.
So let's bring this all together. We've defined CHI command hijacking against embodied AI.
Which is basically using visual lies to trick a robot's brain.
We looked at the self-driving car experiment. A simple Go sticker causing an 80% failure rate with GPT-4o.
Proving that, for these models, text commands can override visual safety cues.
And the drone scenario. A police sign on a random car tricking a sophisticated drone into switching targets.
The Wile E. Coyote effect.
Yeah.
Real-world consequences from cartoon physics.
And we've kind of identified the core problem here. The more capable the AI is, the more ways there are to lie to it.
It's a cat and mouse game. As the AI gets smarter, the attacks just get subtler.
It definitely makes me look at those self-driving cars testing in my neighborhood a little differently now. I used to worry they wouldn't see me. Now I worry they'll read my t-shirt and decide to chase me.
Well, as long as your t-shirt doesn't say "ram me," you should be okay. But seriously, it just means we have a long, long way to go before we can fully trust these systems.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with one last thought. We've talked a lot about how the AI is trying to be helpful. It wants to follow text commands because that's its job. It's been trained to say yes.
Right.
So here's the question. If an AI prioritizes text over safety because it wants to be helpful, how do you teach a robot to be disobedient?
That is the ultimate challenge.
We spend all this time and money teaching them to listen. Maybe the next $1 billion needs to be spent teaching them when to stop listening. The force suggests we've built systems so eager to obey that they've lost their common sense. So how do you code for ignoring your boss when your boss is wrong?
Or when your boss is just a piece of cardboard.
Exactly. Something to think about next time you see a stop sign with a sticker on it. Thanks for diving in with us.
Stay safe out there.